I'm just making sure I can use it.
Yeah, you can use everything. Anything you need.
Is that Sarah
Yeah,
jumping in, just trying to crowd the live already?
already. She's already yelling at me tonight.
Jeez,
What
do it
happens when
off
brains of the operation shows up?
brains and money. What are you talking
Yep.
about?
Hey, all the workforce needs somebody for direction.
That's
Absolutely.
right.
Well, welcome back, guys. Jared, you're not doing something, and you made it.
Hey, been a while, ain't it?
Yeah,
I know.
a long time.
You hunting today, Dustin, or just driving around?
No, I've been overfeeding dogs.
Oh, I don't miss that. I don't miss driving over to feed my dogs. So
Oh,
I lived
It's
on a
not.
little lot, and then I had property with no house, so I had to run over there every night, every day and morning, every morning and night because I had horses over there too.
oh
Yep.
shit.
So, yeah, Jared, you're in the same
Guys,
position, right?
Yeah, down at my place, I got to drive out. It takes about 15 minutes to get there, then 15 minutes to come back.
Yep.
you guys are
But I don't
already
have my
used to
stock.
that.
Yeah,
Why
my
don't
my
you?
horses. I got pens at my house.
No.
Yeah,
What's
you
that,
guys
Benny?
are already used to that. Obviously, everybody's used to that already. Somebody should move to New Mexico, and I got enough property here that you can put your dogs so that you can drive to them and feed them.
Put them in the back where you don't hear them.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yep.
look at that. George Lambert's in California. I've been seeing a
Oh,
bunch of George's reels and videos where they're chasing bears and stuff, and he better not be posting that stuff from California. They're going to get
I
on him.
think I think this is senior, ain't it? George Senior travels all over the place.
Ah, that's what happens when you get old, because
Mm-hmm.
it's like me, I'm always on the go because you never know how much time you got left and you got things to do.
fair enough.
That's fact. That's fact. I hit 50, and when you're 30, you don't think of nothing. When you're 50, you're like, man, your time just shortens. It could be 1 year, it could be 20 years. Might have 20 years.
My
There you go.
buddy's
That is, you're right. That's senior.
Mm-hmm.
my buddy's old man said when I can't remember how old he got when he said it, but it was at one of his birthdays. He's like, "Well, I'm at that age now where I could, he's just like, I might just wake up dead. Who knows? I'm at that age now."
Yeah. Ain't
Yes,
no fun
sir.
waking up dead.
Yep.
You know,
Usually you get married and you wake up dead every day.
Yep.
Shit.
For some people, not me. I got the greatest wife in the world. Of course, I'm
Only
200
took
miles away.
5 tries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What they say, lucky number 13, something like that.
Just like four.
Ah,
Yeah. Well, I've only been married twice before. So third time's a charm.
there you go.
What a charm she is. So, anybody got anything going on? Jared, Dustin,
Well, yeah.
you've been doing some
No.
good.
yeah, Dustin's got secrets.
Yeah.
I got no secrets. Jared just showed me how to catch a lion.
Yeah.
No, that was not me.
So whose dog's trashed and caught it? That's all I want to know.
Oh,
Dustin did.
yeah. Jared thought we had trash the whole time, that negative sucker.
Yeah. It didn't start out like a lion track, and it was just like, God dang it. I was looking at Dustin. I'm like, I swear to God, if this is, something we shouldn't be doing, I'm going to be pissed.
I
And then
was
you
good
caught up.
either way. If it was a lion or a bear, I didn't care.
Yeah.
But no, just that dog that starts it, that dog of hunters that I got, she's something different. She can drift a lion track in the dirt. Like she looks like she's starting fair. Like the way she hit it and just went up that canyon. She wasn't pounding, she wasn't grubbing. She just drifted it and went to work.
Moving
So
You
out.
know, how
Yeah.
how far behind that line do you think you were?
I I would bet I don't think we were more than 5 or 6 hours behind it, to be honest. But
What
Yeah.
was the weather and the humidity, the barometric pressure? What's all going on for it to be able to in those conditions?
Oh, Benny, you're asking way too many questions that I didn't know the answer to. It was we
Didn't you?
saddled at like 6:30, and I bet you we were probably riding by close to 7. I think I didn't look at the time. It was right there close, and I think it was what, like 55, 60 degrees by then.
Yep. It was the air was sinking when we started.
Yeah, and I mean we hadn't been riding. I'll bet we rode a half hour, maybe a hair longer than that when that first dog hit. And they were close to us when they hit. I mean, we watched her hit the first time. She was right off in the little gully next to us, but it was just in country. You couldn't see tracks very good at all. And so she hit, started going. A couple of my other dogs that when they're good gauges that if they open, it's definitely, a night old track, a catchable track, because she can trail stuff that you can't catch. She'll trail stuff that's not even worth trailing. But so they started hitting. Some of Jared's started hitting, and God, they all went for a ways. And then Jared had a young dog that said, "The hell with this shit. It's warm. I'm done." She come back.
Yep.
They went right below a rim on a mesa, crossed a little saddle, and they were crossing a power line road. And that's where I had a young dog that they made a lose right there by that road, and she got hung up and never made it past that. The others all got across and were headed down a different mesa. And right before they jumped her, as far as I could tell, I don't know if she had a yearling with her or if she was messing with the tom or what happened, but there was a canyon right before they jumped her that like 4 or 5 dogs went down this canyon, and the other 4 went and jumped her and caught her. And the dogs that went down the canyon were all good dogs except for one yearling.
So
So
were you at like 5 or 6,000 feet?
yeah, we were just north of town here a ways, not much higher than town.
And then there was a dew in the ground to start with at that temperature?
No.
No, there was no dew.
No.
It was
No
pretty
dew?
dry.
And
Yep.
so you were in a lot of oak
But
brush probably and granite, decomposed
yeah.
granite?
But if you scratch the ground underneath, you could pull moisture up.
Yeah.
Like the top, what was it, half inch was
Yeah.
dry, quarter-inch was dry. But once you got down, like if a horse dug in with his hooves, you could see moisture in the ground.
Yeah, you could see it in there for sure.
See, that's perfect conditions. And that granite holds scent like nobody's business on top of everything else.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it was. I mean, I'll be honest. At first, when they started taking off and they were moving like they were, I told Jared, I was like, I think they're on a bear, and he was like, son of a bitch, my dogs are trashing on bear. But I wasn't stopping mine. They were going, but it was weird because like it was like the first of the race was the fastest part of it.
Yep.
They went up once they come under that rim, and they kind of made that lose. They really didn't boogie a whole lot until those last 4 dogs got her jumped that last quarter mile, and then that's when they booked. But Jared and I were just trying to get up to where they crossed the road to see if we could even find a track. But even by that road, it was just all straight rock or cactus. We just couldn't see a track anywhere. So it was a surprise when we got to the tree, but I
Jared,
was pretty confident we had a lion or a bear. Jared was trying to tell me that we had pigs.
I'm surprised he didn't get
Well,
PTSD and
Dustin
think they were
said,
monkeys.
he's like, yeah. Well, Dustin's like, we're 300 yards from the tree and we couldn't hear them. And I'm like, these some bitches. They got their head stuck in a hole and they're in a rock pile barking at pigs.
But what did I explain to you after? I said you got to learn to use a damn normal GPS because I could see on the
Did he have
GPS.
his house at 10?
He has his 10. He gave me his 300 so I could keep track of his dogs.
Yeah, I like that.
You don't know how to
Hey.
use it yet.
Yeah,
So I
you give me
I
the
looked
track
at the
code,
map
Jeff.
and told him, I'm like, no, they're right off the edge of the rim. We're not going to be able to hear them till we get close because they're right down off that edge.
Mm-hmm.
We get 150 yards. I start hearing treed, and he's like, oh, I hear him now. And we walk around, and sure enough, they had that lion in a tree. And as soon as she saw me and Jared, she bailed, went down, not too far, but it was so hot. She went down. It looked like she went down, did a loop, and came back towards us and treed. And it took the dogs a minute to really kind of find her. And even then, it was warm enough and they were hot enough that we rode down off the hill on the horses. And I could see one of my dogs looking at her, but he wasn't treeing. And I started looking and I was like, oh shit, Jared, there she is in the tree. And then as soon as we got there, all the dogs started coming in and finally located again on that
Yeah.
second tree.
Oh yeah.
Did you climb up there and pet her?
No, I didn't pet her. She was a little high up for that one.
She did piss on him though.
Oh, she got me, did. Yeah, she did get
That
that. But
you know that's just rude behavior. You shouldn't put up with that.
we did ride Jared's freaking Mustangs. I rode it within like what 10 or 15 feet of the tree, and they didn't give us a problem. So I'll give him that.
Good deal.
That Mustang I rode didn't give me a lick of problems, other than he didn't like to hold still when I wanted to hold still.
Did he put you on the old one?
No, I took the young one. You know dang well that sucker's gonna give me the one that he thinks is gonna give me problems.
The one he don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Well,
Why'd you-
shit, I've rode that 3-year-old more than I've rode that 15-year-old.
Yeah. No, he was
Why-
great.
Why'd you think they were trashing at first, Darren? Just how they acted? Too quick of a.
Well, Jessup ran right in front of us, and she had her head up, drifting, and she started barking. And I'm like, son of a bitch, this ain't no line. Because usually when a dog hits a line track, he'll sit there, he'll hit it, he'll grub it for 10, 30 seconds, and then he'll do, and then he'll start trailing. Dude, she
Yeah.
ran right through that track, opened up, and took it.
Yeah, Jess is pretty
She didn't
special.
get a nose full first.
That's what I like right there.
Was that a
So,
female?
Yeah, she is. She's cold. Like she'll trail a track that other dogs can't smell, and she'll trail it like you're trailing a 12-hour-old track. Jess is a pretty special dog.
So
And
you
Jared,
said it was just a pretty hot track.
oh yeah, it was a pretty hot track. I
Yeah.
mean, if it would have been my other dogs that started it, it probably would have made Jared feel better. But
Yeah.
the way she hits it, and I even watched her doing it on an old that track I trailed like a week or so ago, that I knew we were probably at least a day behind it. She was trailing that one halfway similar. She was going slower, but I mean, and she will get down and pound, but it's only when she really has to. She's just a different kind of special type of dog that she's got an unreal nose, and she's got some drive. But
Yeah.
You made the comment that she'll trail things that you shouldn't trail and you can't catch. But the more time you spend trailing lions in the dirt, the more you'll find out that that's a belief that people have, that sometimes it's true and sometimes it's not.
yeah,
Just because you can trail, and especially those females, those sneaking around little communist outfits, because they don't leave all the scent like a tom does. And if they've got kittens, they're gonna, you know, they're
Yep.
not gonna leave as much scent, and they're gonna pull some tricks here and there. And you might be cold trailing and just track to track and pounding the fire out of something that leads into a kill.
yeah.
You never know.
Well, I guess I should say it different. She will trail stuff that no one can help her on. As far as the dogs I have, she'll do it by herself. She has no help, if that makes sense,
Well,
until it hits a certain point, and then the help will chime in. And when the help chimes in, that lets me know, usually we're within a 12-hour-old track, which is a good runnable, for the most part, catchable track. And you're right, you can catch those older ones for sure, but sometimes you'll trail and never quite get there.
But if you do that, if you trail as far as the lion hunting goes, if those dogs trail like that 15, 20 days in a row, and they just keep driving on it and driving on it. Now you might lose patience, but as long as the dogs don't lose patience and they keep trying, and then one day, boom, they catch a lion, that just gave those dogs a whole new lease on life and their mentality for trailing those tracks.
Oh, definitely. I agree. You know, my thing this time of year is you're trying to beat the heat too. I mean, when Jared and I got back to the truck, it was 85, headed towards 90 degrees.
Yep.
But
It was
But
90
do you
by the
think
time
that
we got
helps?
back.
Do you think that helps when you start off and you have all that moisture underground, starts warming up, and then you got that decomposed granite, right? So that has to
Yep.
hold all the way around those little tiny pebbles. So when it
Yeah.
starts heating up, you think you hit that just right where
Well,
it's
that
sending that
granite,
scent straight up?
too, you know, we've all done construction. You grabbed concrete with your hand, busted up concrete and thrown in a wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
That takes skin off your hand.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when
Oh,
they're walking on that rock and stuff, that's leaving skin particles.
it's
which
just
is-
sucking up all them dead cells.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
That makes
that's why
sense.
you can trail on those rocks a lot easier.
Definitely makes sense.
And I don't know, Benny, you could tell me I'm an idiot, but that's what I thought is when they're walking.
We all tell you you're an idiot.
Yeah,
Well,
but
No, I think you're right, Jared, because you watch a lot of these dogs, especially on a tough track. The rocks are where they go to. That's where they're
Yeah.
gonna lick. That's where they're gonna pull up sin. It's not the dirt. They're you know, on those tough ones, they're brushing or they're checking and licking rocks.
Yep.
So,
You know, because you hit those for some reason you hit those grassy patches where it's just real heavy foliage and dead yellow grass. Like down on the border, you get it a lot.
Yeah.
And you'll hit a good trailable lion, and you're like, oh, we're catching this bugger, and then it hits a grass patch and it goes to them pecking away, just trying to pull something out.
Like that one we was on last year, that joker was streaming hot and hit that yellow grass and
Yeah, the dogs that take it in the wash, head up almost, just they could grab that track and rip it. And then
streaming
that
on.
bugger would go up on a dry hillside and come back down, and they couldn't trail nothing on the hillside almost. I mean, it was just slower than shit.
Bad deal.
yep. I don't know. That's the thing. Everywhere you go from one range to another. The trailing conditions are different. The foliage can be different. You know. So I don't know. It was just a good day that everything lined up pretty perfect for me and Jared. And honestly, for a day of hunting lions in the dirt, you couldn't have asked for a better one. It was just, everything was smooth, easy, and just worked great.
Yeah,
You
all the
said that
dogs
last
got to
time
see
about
that
your
lion.
bear, and then the
Well,
next bear ran you ragged.
Oh, yeah.
Don't jinx yourself.
Yeah,
I'll
all the
take the
dogs got to
lucky.
see a
I'll take
lion.
the lucky days when I can take them.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well,
You
except
know,
for-
we
I think 3 dogs
what?
didn't see it, but
Yeah,
3 or
yeah.
4.
We had a few that didn't make it. I had a yearling, and then Jared had a couple dogs that didn't make it. You know, I won't tell you what I texted Jared on my way home that day.
I'll say it. I'll say it.
The initial tree, there was 4 red dogs and 1 black dog. That's all I'm saying.
oh, oh.
Yep.
He knows you haven't been in for a while, and he just giving you a little chance.
I told him he had to, well, he started unloading dogs out of his box, and he had to take all these hoods off of them. My dogs thought they were KKK.
You know, it kind of segues into to what we're talking about. Kind of what makes that super dog, that hound. And you're talking about your dog. Where does that come from? Is it a lot of trees, or do you think a dog that's phenomenal? I'm talking phenomenal. You think it's just kind of like a fighter, just a dude who can fight, just a dog that can trail?
Yeah.
dog.
I mean, I think a lot of it is natural ability, but also it takes a person that can put in the time to that dog to be able to bring that natural ability out. You know,
I
but
always,
And the dog that we're talking about, this Jessa dog, she's not mine. She is Hunter Meekum's dog. Hunter just, when I went and got mine, he sent a few dogs down with me just because he knew I'd need a bunch for when we're hunting bears. And it just happens that Jessa excels at both.
But Arizona, possession is 9/10 of the law. Does he know this yet?
But you go. I always bring up the Archie Manning family because everyone knows who they are, the Mannings. You have Peyton Manning, who was a great quarterback. He had it. His younger brother, Eli, didn't have what Archie or what Peyton had, right? It's the genetics have to be there first.
Yeah.
First and foremost, it has to be genetics. But to get that great next level dog, level 5 dog, it has to be a little bit of extra drive or whatever they have to have it, and that's not taught.
So do you think, like,
But the genetics at the base does have to be genetics.
who is it? Kobe, his son don't play, right? Don't play very good. But does he have better coaching? Does Manning have better coaching when he was getting brought up to where when you have that second generation, it's expected and they get a little lazy maybe?
Maybe, but you go to Michael Jordan. He had like 4 boys. And he freaking, thank you, sweetie. And
what is Brandon there? Oh, it's Sarah.
No, Sarah.
I never know. I never know when he calls somebody sweetie.
And Michael Jordan, he had 4 boys. None of them made the NFL.
But is it
Or
because
the NBA.
look how many houndsmen, like you look at houndsmen, right? Like my boys are 10 years old, 11. They're feeding my dog while I'm gone. They kind of get burnt out. So did his boys get burnt out where there was so much basketball, they weren't interested in it. So they didn't really pursue it.
I think that can be a thing for people, but I don't think so for a dog. I think there's something in some of them. Like the genetics have to be there, but that little extra, it might be in one of the litter. And they all bred the same. They all got the genetics. The one that's just the extra special getter has got that whatever that champion button is pressed in his head, and he's gonna get it.
Jared and I
an
were
individual. Period. It's an individual because look at Serena and Venus Williams.
Yeah.
And they were exactly the same. They were brought up exactly the same. They were both extremely good at tennis, but Serena left Venus in the dust when it came to all out playing. And it's not because Venus didn't try hard. It's an individual. We're all wired 100% different this direction or that direction. And it doesn't matter. I got 2 brothers and a sister, and none of us are alike.
Yep.
And we came from the exact same cross.
Well, I think so. I mean, my opinion on it, and Jared and I were talking about this, is the one thing that you cannot, and I could be wrong. Someone can call me, tell me I'm full of shit. But the one thing that is hard to breed for is heart.
Mm-hmm.
Heart is very hard to breed for, and like to breed that. They can get all the abilities of the dad or the mom, but if they don't have the heart and the drive to put them to use, they're never gonna be their dad or their mom.
Yep. Because
that's where years and years and years of breeding, line breeding, out crosses, years and years and years of focus. And to be honest, how many of us have that?
It's especially in this day and age, it's dwindling.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
even,
not a
even
lot
if
of
you
people.
have the line, right? Like me, I have the same line from 05, but you can only go so far before you have to kind of experiment with other lines. Even a good line, you bring it in, doesn't mean it's going to be a good cross. I've had some dogs that I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. And I'm all, oh, it's not that great. And then I have a stupid accident breeding. I'm like, how did that happen that they came out great when I didn't plan on it?
Well,
Yeah.
and it's just like I think we've talked about before though. Just because this dog checks every box does not mean that he can pass it on. Uh,
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
a producer is different. Like a great producer is very different than a great dog. You know, you can have this top dog, does it all, does it day in, day out, never quits, always honest, always does what he's supposed to. Doesn't mean he's going to pass on those great traits to his offspring. Some dogs just, you can have, you know, the best dog in your whole pack, and he can be a dud when it comes to reproducing.
Yep.
What was the guy's name that you had on with the Lycas? Eric?
Alex,
Alex
Alex.
get
So somebody asked the question about his line, and he said, check back with me in 20 years. So he understood what it was going to take. And you got to have the focus with that in mind. And so when I was in my 20s, I didn't have that focus. I didn't have that comprehension. When I was in my 30s, I didn't have that focus. I started to get some of that comprehension. And then as time went on, and it all changed for me the day Richard Dickerson gave my son that pup out of Popeye. And I said, you know, this is a different ball game now, or this has the potential to be a different ball game now. So what am I going to do with the potential? I mean, yeah, it was my son's dog, but it's in my kennel,
Yep.
yeah,
you know. So then you've got to focus on what is your end goal. I had cattle, and there was a family in Montana that they would sell you any kind of composite bull you wanted in any color for $1,500 and deliver it to you. And I bought one of those bulls. I told them, this is what my cattle looks like. This is what I want my cattle to be. And this is where we went. And so they explained to me hybrid vigor. And the exact same thing happens in these dogs. So you've got to believe in what you're doing and you've got to see it through. And just because, like you brought up, this dog's not a producer, that doesn't mean that that dog's genes don't carry that production. And so if you keep on your program, but you do it with laser focus, you can reach that hybrid vigor in the crossbreeding of these hounds.
wait. Derek, did you just eat string cheese, canned cheese?
No, I just spit Copenhagen into an orange juice
I
bottle.
thought it was. I was gonna say, now I know what's wrong with you. You're eating string cheese.
Eating some
It
easy
looks like a
cheese,
string
huh?
cheese bottle. You know, I'm gonna bring this up before I forget.
Hold
But
up. One more thing before we go off subject. That Jessup dog did have two full, not litter mates, but full-blooded litter or full-blooded brother or sister.
No. So she's different.
Okay.
It's my other 3 dogs that are all the same cross.
Okay. Never mind then.
Yep. And there's a difference in all of them for sure.
Yep.
So my older dog, so there's 3 dogs that are all out of the same cross and they're all 2 years apart. So same cross, one's 6, one's 4, one's 2. The older dog is a nice dog. But he's not the dog that the 4-year-old is. The 4-year-old is one of those dogs to me that's special because of his heart. His heart gives that dog that extra that makes him that much more special than the older dog that has almost the same amount of ability, but he won't quit when the older dog starts to get tired and won't push it, if that makes sense, especially when it comes to bears. And then the younger dog, she's 2 and she's got a good cold nose, but she is still figuring her thing out. She didn't make it to the tree. She's the one that got held up at the road. The other 2 were both at the tree, but yeah, same cross, 3 different generations, 3 very different dogs.
Now, that female that started that, is she bred like different than the other stuff? Like, has she got some some
No.
some running dog in there or something like that?
Oh, no running dog. All out here stuff. So she is half, and I might have to call Hunter on this, but I'm almost positive she is out of Hunter's Good Male and a cross with a gentleman out of Utah named Brad Evans.
Okay.
So
I just wanted to,
yeah.
that that trailing style. That's how running dogs trail everything.
No, it's all Southwest, and that's like these dogs will drift a track, especially a bear track. They'll drift it. She just has that nose power that she can drift stuff that other dogs can't drift.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
Like she's extremely bold.
I think that, and and I might be wrong, I don't know, but I think it's more of a drive thing than a nose thing. Because even a Chihuahua can smell, like I say, a tiny, parts per million of a scent. But I wonder if it just takes more to make some dogs sure of it and less for other dogs to be more sure of it.
So let me put it this way. Most human beings are just like dogs. They're all created equal. But my nose don't work worth a shit compared to my mom. Not my mom, my wife. My wife, I want to rent her to the police because she can smell
She
shit.
smells your bullshit a mile away.
Shit. Like, honestly. So and maybe I'm an asshole for saying this, but to believe every dog can smell the same amount of scent out of anything, I think is bullshit. Dogs are very individual, just like people. So I do believe that there's stuff that Jessa can smell that these other dogs cannot smell. Plain and simple.
I believe that
And
too.
that might be true, but I think the difference between individuals is so small that it doesn't change on a day-old line or a 2-day-old line. You know what I mean? On something that you can actually, because if she can smell them 3 weeks old, you can't catch that one anyway unless you get lucky. You're not going to trail him for 3 weeks of walking and catch him. You know what I mean? And maybe unless you spent a month. You know what I mean? But
and I agree. Drive has a big thing to do with harnessing their nose and using it. But also, if that dog can't smell it, that he can have all the drive in the world, but if he can't smell it, he can't smell it. And that's the difference. Because I have Jessa, which can smell it and she'll push it. I have Boomer, that if he can smell it, he's not gonna quit it. But the 10-hour differences in tracks, if he doesn't open, he'll stay with them, but he's not gonna push it. And that dog has so much heart that if he can smell it, he will kill himself trying.
Do you think
So
that? Do you
he
think
can't
that has
smell what she can smell?
a little bit to do with drive, though? As far as maybe when she smells it, she gets more excited about it.
That's what I mean. Like
both those dogs have high drive and high heart. That's what's.
How do you quantify that?
You watch them. You hunt them. You spend time with them.
That's not quantification, though. You can't quantify an esoteric idea like heart and drive, but we can quantify
before we start dropping big words here. Can we dumb it down? You
gotta. Hey, we got Jared with us, man.
You can't measure an idea.
I had to reach. I had to reach peak brain for quantify, and then whatever the hell Derek just said. Well, when it comes to anything on a dog, you can't measure it. Why? Because unless you, and in Arizona you can't, unless you take a trail camera and walk that dog in every half hour and say this lion was here this many hours ago, this lion was here this many hours ago. You can't do that in Arizona. And judge when she will open and when she won't. You can't put a number to anything on a dog.
But you can put a number to parts per million that a dog can spell. That's a scientifically done thing.
Okay, but how can they measure that on every individual dog? How? I'm not being a dick. I want you to explain to me how they are going to tell you this dog can smell this many parts per million and this one can't. Because they're individuals. They have different genetics, just like people. There's no one set number that a dog can smell this. Every dog can smell this. If anyone claims that, and I might be an ignorant redneck, I say bullshit. Because you hunt with these dogs for years and years, so many dogs, and you notice that some dogs
will smell and hit on a track that's 24 hours old, and a dog from the same breeding, could be the same cross, will walk right over that track and never even know it's there.
Okay, so do you think that a puppy, like a young dog that'll run like a really hot track, but they won't cold trail something until they get older, do you think their nose didn't develop yet, or do you think they just don't
No,
get
I'm
excited
talking
about
about 6-year-old dogs. 6-year-old dogs, they should be
but
fully
I'm using
developed.
this for an example. Like, it's not a nose development thing. It's an amount of scent getting excited thing.
Okay.
It's just like when you train a dog for a specialty scent job, they don't get excited about it until you teach them that they should. So it's about
So you
directing and
praise them.
drive.
You're talking about praising a dog, saying
No,
that's exactly
I'm
what I want.
talking about drive levels for small amounts of scent is all I'm saying. But it's like every time I say something, I'm full of shit and I should shut up. Like,
Well,
I don't
Because
know.
you have a funny accent,
Yeah.
Eric. You know this.
You want to talk about puppies now? Bringing puppy into drive, okay? My puppy that came back, I don't know, whatever. She got hot, said hell with it, hit the road with that other dogs, and then she came back to us. We got
Is
to
that
the
drive?
tree.
Or
No, hold up.
not?
Hold up. We got to the tree. That lion bailed. She went off trailing with the other dogs. And then the other dogs treed that lion, had that lion treed. You could hear her opening in the bottom and trailing. She'd come to the tree, but that lion was so far up, she didn't do nothing with it. She couldn't see it yet, and she's not even a year old. She would leave the tree and go back to trailing. It is strictly, or their brains are not developed.
It's not a brain development. It's a learning thing. It's a drive and a learning thing.
Learning is brain development.
No, brain development is your brain growing. That's not learning and brain development are not the same thing.
When does the dog's brain stop developing? Like, a serious question. Because a puppy, as it grows, its brain is developing and growing. So when does that stop and it becomes a mature brain?
I would imagine probably when they're fully grown. So, 18 months old, something like that.
And that's where I'm saying that a puppy, no matter what its abilities, is not fully developed until it's an adult dog. So I won't compare.
Okay, so compare a 2-year-old that's just getting started to the 5-year-old that's seen 50 pieces a game. It's the same thing. And I don't know. Every time I mention something that's scientifically proven, you guys all act like because it didn't come from
what scientifically proven though that their noses have so many, because how are they basing it off receptors?
They can measure the parts per million that the dogs can detect. Because
shouldn't every dog smell the same then? Period.
Across
if that's the case?
Across the breed spectrums that have been tested, they can all smell within a range, and the difference in that range is so small comparatively to the
quantify.
Then why
when
are
you're
man
watching
trackers
two
always
dogs.
bloodhounds?
Well, they're not always bloodhounds. More often than not, they're Malinois and German Shepherds.
No, those are biters. I'm talking man trackers.
Yeah. When you use a man app, there's 0 hounds used in combat zones to apprehend squirters. It's always
back. I'm not talking about bite
back
dogs
in the
combat.
day.
I'm talking in the 1970s and 80s.
Prison break shit.
In
the 1970s
in Reno, Nevada, they had a guy cut a police department guy, a cop, in half with a hatchet. They didn't bring their GSPs or Dobermans to go find that guy. They brought a man tracker.
That was in the 70s. 100 years before that, they fought each other with muzzleloaders. Just because it was done.
We're not talking about people. We're talking about dogs. And
but technology
still use man trackers. They still use man trackers even to find illegals. Like, yes, they do have German Shepherds and Malinois with them when they get close.
But they
also use the bloodhounds.
Then why don't we use bloodhounds? If they're, you know what I mean?
Do you understand what pressure is to a lion?
You guys don't talk
It
to me
takes
about.
five.
I ain't gonna talk about pressure. I done got yelled at
It
about
takes
talking about
5
pressure
things
dogs.
to catch a lion. It takes 5 things to catch a lion. First, you have to find the track. Second, you have to make sure you're going the right direction. You're not trailing backwards. The third and fourth tie into each other. It's time and distance. How many hours you're behind the track and how many miles, square footage, whatever, you're behind the track. The fifth is up to the dogs. That is pressure. That is how fast and how hard can those dogs trail that lion to apply pressure to make him feel uncomfortable to climb a tree. Now, if your dogs are just walking like a bloodhound, he's not fast, he's made to smell, he's not made to run. If he is just opening up and walking on a lion track, it does you no good. That's why our hounds now are high-gutted, athletic hounds, because they apply pressure. Same thing when it comes to bear hunting. If your dogs are 30 feet behind a bear, barking at it, he's not gonna climb. He's just gonna walk all day. Yep. You have to have pressure. That's why we don't put bloodhounds in the dirt.
Faster, more aggressive dog, then you will.
You don't need aggressive. My dogs, I caught a lion in July. My dogs were scared shitless of it. They didn't go near it. They growled at it.
But you have to have a faster, more aggressive dog than what a bloodhound is what I'm saying. Yes. So it could be done.
Yeah, bloodhounds are slow for sure.
Yeah.
But they're made to trail a colder scent.
But even a bloodhound can still, we know, so bloodhounds, super cold nose. We know that, right? And a mountain one, super hot nose.
Okay,
right?
But wait,
comparatively.
Before you continue there, Derek, does that you're talking about equal receptors or equal parts per million?
I'm talking about a difference in the range that's so small that it won't make a difference for our applications.
It will make a difference.
No, then why doesn't it make a difference when you're trying to smell drugs hidden inside of stuff? It doesn't. It's such a small amount of scent that they can detect. Even the hottest nose.
You're talking about a small amount of scent, right?
A tiny, minute amount.
Minuscule. We're talking percentages, right?
Yeah, parts per million.
Parts
I'm talking
per
about
million.
a teaspoon of sugar and 1,000 gallons of water.
All right. In high school, I ran a 4.540. Now, I didn't play college ball. It's the same thing. There are guys that ran a 4.4840. It's a 1/10 of a second difference that can get you to that next level.
I'm trying to figure out what Derek is saying, though. Are you saying all dogs' noses are equal right now? Is that what you're trying to say?
I've said it 5 times. I'm saying the range is so different that I think it has more to do with the drive of the dog than like could there be a dog that can't smell shit? I'm sure. Could there be a dog that smells a little bit more than all the rest? But I don't think it's a big enough difference to say like that dog's too hot nosed for this stuff or that dog's what have you. I think what we're saying is they work the track faster, slower, more effectively, etc. And I was just theorizing that it has more to do with the drive and the amount of scent that the dog gets excited about, as opposed to whether or not the dog can smell it at all.
So
because
say
it doesn't
there's 2
make
million
sense
particles on the ground, right?
It doesn't make sense to me that one step further and the dog all of a sudden could smell this that he couldn't smell 1 foot behind. You know what I mean?
Well, you're just go back to any athletic sport. It's anything is a game of just this much. So if say you're a natural dog, I don't know the science like you do, but say a natural dog can smell 2 million parts per whatever. Okay, that's a natural. Every dog can do that. Now the hound, and you on this track, and there is 1.5 million parts per million, or whatever it is. The hound can pick up 500,000 more particles than that other dog. That allows him to go and take it. Compared to the average dog, he can grub up just enough more than the other one. And now, when you get close to the jump race, the hotter dogs can get it and carry it along as well.
I understand the difference in what you're saying, but I think the difference in that is more applicable when you're talking about like a cur dog versus one of your black and tans. Like a different breed of dog might have a big enough gap to have a noticeable difference. But I mean, inside of, or like, you know, a Malinois next to a red tick, like that's going to probably be a big difference there. But I don't know. I mean, we know what these hot dogs can smell, and it's so much less than what is left when a foot touches the ground. It's a fraction of a fraction of a fraction. So I was just theorizing that I think it has more to do with the amount that it takes for a dog to get excited. It's just a
So
drive.
this dog gets more excited over this track than the next. So what kind of started this? You said, how do you quantify that?
That's not the start of it, but how do we quantify drive and heart? Because we're assuming that the dog barks as soon as he can smell anything. And
some do.
And some might. But we know that like the amount of scent left by a foot on the ground is a lot of parts per million. It's a lot. It's not 2, it's not 1, it's not 50. It's a shitload. And a dog that's not trained to get excited about that, when you teach them that that's what we're after, then they bark on it. Just like when we trash break them, it's not like they can't smell the deer anymore. They're just not barking at the deer scent.
Because you discourage them from being excited about the deer.
It has to do more, I think, with them figuring out that that's enough that I can catch that thing, rather than I can't smell it until we go 10 more feet. Now I smell it enough to get really excited. That makes no sense to me, because the parts per million between that 100 yards of track have not changed very much. Not on.
I agree with you that it's drive, if that's what you're saying. I think a dog that really loves to hunt lion or bear or rabbit or deer, and if you've shocked him off everything else but whatever you're chasing, obviously he's going to have the drive. But I was kind of under the assumption you're saying all their noses are the same.
They are within a range. They're within a range that is so close that it's most likely more to do with drive. Just like some dogs prefer a lion over a bear or vice versa. It's not like they can't smell the bear. They just don't like chasing them.
It can also come down to confidence. I mean, you could have a 2-year-old dog that knows how to catch, but hasn't started its own track yet. And you take your young pack out that day and you leave your studs at home and you hit a night old lion track and they're smelling it, but they're also looking at you like, can we? Because I don't have my big brother here to tell me we're doing it.
Well, we've all had the dogs. We've all had the dogs that is colder than the other or hotter than the other, right? Or we've had the dogs that don't open up on a track until they're running it, right? Mm-hmm. But just because they're not barking doesn't mean they're not smelling it or they haven't smelt it. But also, Tim is right. They're not taught to hunt. They're taught what not to hunt. Because they'll go out and run a rabbit all day long.
They're taught to hunt the way we want them to. Like, for sure. We have to train our dogs. You can't just turn loose the best bred 2-year-old in the world without working him and expect him to go out and hold something till you get there. Like, they gotta learn.
Yes.
Like, we don't tell them chase lions and catch it for us, but they have to learn. We're
I think it's a combination of everything. I think you have to have a dog with drive. You have to have the dog that has the nose you're willing to use. If you want a cold nosed dog and you want to trail for 10 days, you're gonna have. If you don't want that, you're gonna have a dog that will only open on a track that's 5 hours old, whatever.
Right. And you can manipulate the coldness of the tracks that the dogs take by rewarding or not rewarding the behavior. Like that's a thing too. Just same way that they teach dogs to only alert at a certain amount of scent with detection. You can make a dog colder or hotter based on the training that you put into it, and that's like an established thing that's done.
I think when you lion hunt, any dog that opens on a lion track, you don't care if it's hot or cold. You have a dog that's going to run a lion track. I don't think any lion hunters say, no, he's opening on it too cold. Let's not let him do that. Or, no, he's opening on it too hot. You know what I mean? I don't think like a drug dog, they're real meticulous in what they. A lion dog opens on a lion, you're happy. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Oh
For the
yeah.
most part. Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
It like
Unless
the
he's going
comment
into a
there that
hellhole you don't want to go into.
well, yeah, because it's like the comment there that you teach him what not to hunt. So there's good and bad. I've had dogs that would hunt lions, but they weren't content with just hunting lions. And so I peddled them, because of my mindset. And I think that's what Derek's trying to allude to is and get across is that we're the ones that are trying to influence these dogs. We're looking for a dog that has the ability, but we want them to do what we want them to do.
Okay.
Sounds
But I
accurate.
do not believe that every dog is created equal. I just
No, and I didn't say that. I said that I
no, and I
don't
mean,
believe like
and I'm just saying, Derek, not even every every line of dogs, like a certain line of hounds or a certain line of bird dogs, they're still not all created equal. They're
no,
just
and I said that 15 minutes ago. Just every time I
yeah.
talk, everybody gets upset. Like
Hey,
all I
you didn't
said
see me
was,
get upset. I
well,
didn't
no,
say anything.
I don't think no one
but
got upset. We was trying to clarify what you were saying.
well, no. Dustin told me I was full of shit twice. So
Well,
I mean, that's just how it goes. If I speak, whether it's you know tested science or not, I'm full of shit.
I can
well, it's
tell you from
vested
my
science, but
personal
it's not vested
experience.
science in lion hunting. I mean, that's
You
why.
guys,
Well,
you guys, lions are not the hardest thing in the world to smell. Like that's something that we got to realize. What our dogs are smelling is not the hardest thing in the world to find. They can smell.
What
They can smell it or
What's the
not. It's
hardest
not
thing in the world to find?
I would say probably a drug in a gallon of alcohol in a plastic bag, something like that. Hidden scent that has been masked and hidden by inside of a fuel tank of a truck, stuff like that. That's probably a lot harder. Well, we know that's way less parts per million to find, way less scent molecules than what an animal leaves when it steps on the ground.
But when the guy's handling the drugs and wrapping it, he doesn't have any of the drug particles coming on the outside of the wrapping either, as he's handling both at the same time.
It's still inside of 100 gallons of diesel. It's still way
I
less
mean,
parts. It's
they
way
didn't
less
find
scent
they
particles.
didn't find freaking how many times did El Chapo put freaking cocaine packages in jalapeno cans, and it didn't get found until a tip. It wasn't a dog that found it; it was a tip.
So that's like saying every lion we didn't catch means you can't hunt lions with dogs. That doesn't make any sense. They're
No,
not
it's
going to
just
find everything,
they
but
have to. Yeah, a mistake has to happen where who knows that guy did a bump of coke and it ended up on the outside of the container. I mean, they just found
We're talking
140
about,
pounds
so
of
when we,
meth in Nogales yesterday
but
in a
I'm
but
trunk.
not,
they
Now,
I'm
it
not
wasn't a
looking for
trunk.
meth. I'm not looking for meth. I don't want a dog look for meth. And I don't, I think, why wouldn't, if lions weren't so hard to hunt or
I
make a
said they're
dog
not
to
the
hunt,
hardest thing for a dog to smell, is what I said.
Well,
yeah,
why
but
would you
I
like?
don't care about drugs. And like, we're talking about game here. So I think if lions were easy like pigs or bears, right? Bears are stinky, coons are stinky, lions, bobcats, they're pretty hard to get, you know? And so when we're talking about chasing game, I think lions are pretty difficult. And bobcats, cats in general, and I don't. Dustin, did you say that all? I don't think you said it. Maybe I missed it, but I don't think you said that all puppies are created equal in a litter.
Nobody said that.
Well, Scott said Dustin was full of shit for saying that, but I don't remember him actually saying that.
Nope, nope. He didn't say that.
So
I think there's a very, I'm trying to figure out my words because I think there is a good, like Derek has very, very good points. I'm not saying Derek's full of shit. I'm also going off of experience of just watching dogs. Do I think every dog's nose is created equal? No, and Derek didn't say that. I personally believe there's more of a variance than what he was talking about, but that doesn't mean he's full of shit. But I also agree with him very much. So it's just like the work ethic in a person.
Yeah.
You know, you give a teenager a job, and I'm probably dumb redneck, but you give a teenager a job that was raised in the middle of Phoenix, that has done nothing but play video games and go to school his whole life, and you give a different teenager that was raised on a dairy farm in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, which one's going to work harder?
Yeah.
When it's a physically demanding job, which one's going to work harder? I mean, yeah, they have different genetics. I do think genetics can play a part in all of it, but also drive, definitely, you know, and well, it's just like it could be me and Jared out hunting. Jared's drive to pursue a harder track than my drive could be very different. He's going to want to go, and I'm going to be like, you know what? I don't think this one's worth it. Let's go find something different. And so I very much understand that. And that's why I went quiet for a little while. I had to calm down. Because I don't think that
red rage.
I don't think that Derek's full of shit. I think Derek has done a lot of research that some of us haven't. But also, what you have to take into account is years of experience versus science. And that's where some of us get more passionate versus reading the science. And so I think it's a good balance. And I don't think there's a perfect answer to all of this.
Yeah.
I don't think that any of us know it and the hard part is none of us could prove it, because you know what? We're all just a bunch of damn houndsmen, and we don't have the shit to go prove that this dog can smell more than this dog, or this dog has more heart than this, other than our experience to go hunt and watch what they can produce. This dog can produce a lion tree out of that track that this dog is not going to. The factor of what's going on in between, we can't prove.
And I think your observations are not wrong. You've seen it. You know what I mean? I was just theorizing that perhaps it wasn't as clear cut as he can't smell it. You know what I mean? I wasn't saying you're wrong or anything like that. I was just theorizing another possible why, because we don't know, you know, and I'm just, I was just throwing out a talking point. I didn't mean to ruffle anybody the wrong way. I couldn't hear him there.
Yeah, he's breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, my phone's having issues. But I said Derek uses big fancy words that confuse me, and then I get flustered.
Hey, at least Jared says, "Hey, dumb it down a little bit."
Yeah. See, the problem is Derek might sound not smart, but with his accent, but he uses those big words, and it just confuses the shit out of my whole body. It's like, what the hell just?
And you're right, Blackbeard Kennels. The results do matter, and that's all we have to quantify, to measure, Jared, our success or how we read a dog. And I think the science is all great and stuff, but I don't see science when I'm right here. I see my dogs doing something. I see my dogs trailing a lion, and I think me and Brett talked about knowing your dogs, and John Clump, right, Benny? That guy reads dogs like a book. Like, he's memorized them. He can tell you if that dog's lollygagging around or what he's doing. And I think a lot of that is, I 3-tag lions in my hit. So yeah, but you still, Benny, 3 lions, you still know what your dogs were doing on those lions.
Well, yeah,
that's
but
your
along
quantification.
with that numbers, you know. So, you know, I think it was Cody King that pointed out that people, we can read we can read the how did he say it? Read Tritronics or whatever it was. I read Garmin.
Mm-hmm.
I comprehend Garmin. Well, the same thing before they had all of that. You had to read your dogs. You had to know your dogs. And it doesn't matter what you're hunting and it doesn't matter what kind of dogs you're running. If you don't know your dogs, the only way you know your dogs is to spend time with them, honest to goodness time with them out in the field. And if you don't know your dogs, it doesn't matter what you think because it's all just hypothetical.
Yeah.
I just use the signs to like getting this dog here. I don't know, I don't know. I can't go find what his people did or what his sire did. They didn't. Nobody works them in this country, so I had to look at the way they're put together, the way they're bred, and use the science to tell me that he can smell it. And then it's just my job to get him in front of it where he can figure it out. They generally got enough drive that he should chase about whatever I put him in front of, and then buzz him off the bad stuff. And because I can't go to old Tony up the mountain that hunted this line for there isn't anybody running these. So if I'm going to run this, I gotta use what he's capable of scientifically to tell me whether or not it's going to work. And then if it don't work, it's on me, or maybe it's an individual thing. But yeah, I just use it to help myself from getting in a situation where my gear won't fail me, if that makes any sense.
I don't think we get defensive about the science. I think we get defensive when someone says you don't know your dog or how do you know your dog? Because we all know our dogs. I couldn't go run Derek's dogs,
but we don't know why
and
they're
read them.
doing what they're doing because we can't read in their minds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know if my dog can't smell it or if he just ain't excited about it. Like, I don't know for a fact, one way or the other. That's what I mean by, like, we can't quantify the why a dog makes a choice. Yeah, because we can't smell what they like. If I could smell what they smelled, I wouldn't need to feed these jokes.
The use of trail cameras was a big deal when that first came out.
Yeah,
it showed us
knowing the time of the trail of the track.
Well, I mean, you read, listen to the lead boys talk, and they were on a 3-day-old lion track, a 5-day-old lion track. It was, I think, the longest they ever said they trailed a lion was a 5-day-old track. And when we got the use of trail cameras coming up, we found out that it was actually a lot shorter time period than what it was. With perfect trailing conditions, I think Brett Vaughn trailed a lion and he was 3 days behind it at the oldest. But I mean, it was cloud cover for 3 days, moisture was hanging low, and nothing evaporated. Where I've used trail cameras and I've been 12 hours behind a lion and my dogs have stood on their head. And it was, don't get me wrong, it was hot. But there was little rock, hardly any vegetation, mainly sand, that type of stuff, where I was 12 hours and they stood on their head. And then you have other days, where was I going with this? The use of trail cameras, if you really want to learn and study how dogs trail and all that stuff with ability, the only way to do it would be with the trail camera.
Yeah. Or a collared lion.
Yeah.
Or a collared lion.
We're not allowed to do that. That's illegal.
Well, I think it's like we always say, there's so many variables in scent. There's so many variables in dogs, with genetics, with drive, with ability, that there's never going to be an exact science that says, you know what, this dog can catch this in this condition, because you can try and speculate it all you want, but just there's so much variability in it that, man, it's just, you can't predict it. You can't put an exact science to it because there's so many different things that come into play.
Yeah, and I mean, how many times have we all been on one and they're cooking that joker, like, oh, this one's done now, and you start counting, start sharpening your knives, and then gone, disappeared.
Hell,
Well,
that's
like
every
that.
time I hear a dog bark, I get excited and think we're good to go.
It was like that
As
one
soon as
we
they open.
dropped on last year. They lit out of there so hot. Oh, we were gonna pile that joker up. I just knew it, and then it's just, who knows? There's so much wildness there.
And Juliana, she said it too. You can never replicate the same hunt, even in the same area, even the next day. Moisture changes, the weather changes. I mean, if you ran your dogs the day before, what is their drive the next day? Is it just as hard as the day before?
Well, it's like, so Chris, maybe, and you probably have had some experience with this, but so you tree a bear, you rig this bear could have came through the middle of the night. We'll switch it up from lions. Bears came through 3 o'clock in the morning. You rig it at 6. You run it. You catch it.
Mm-hmm.
You leave it in the tree. You go drive around for 4 more hours and find nothing, and you're like, you know what? These puppies could use some exercise. I'm gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to walk these dogs back into that tree, and they should be able to trail it. Have you ever done that, and the dogs can't find shit for about 300 yards?
Is it?
Like,
do you think it's
like
too
where
excited?
it comes out of the tree, they can't smell it.
I've done that before and had to circle around kind of big.
Yeah.
But that's in like
to find it and get it going again.
Yeah. So do you think when you take it back to the tree, because you know a bear dog, what do? They look in the trees. Even when one dog barks, the rest of your pack looks up. Like the first thing they do is they look in those trees. And then
they're looking.
Maybe they're like, where is that bear? Where's that bear? It was right here. Because dogs have a wonderful GPS system in their brain.
They do.
They'll you drop them 10 miles away, they'll come back to where you dropped them. So
it's just weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've hiked back into a tree that was 4 hours old. Bear had to have came out of that tree and took off running, but it took me probably making circles out to about 100 to 200 yards away from that tree before those dogs would hit it. And even then, it wasn't like they were burning it. It was a little bit of a grind for a minute before they got it up and rolling.
Yeah.
And that could just be my experience. Maybe my dogs don't know shit. I don't know. But I'm not claiming they'll do anything but shit and bark.
Well, hell, how many bears have you seen run by? You let your dogs go, they hit the track and go the opposite way. Even though you just
I
seen
think
the bear.
One, it's like there's so much thing is too little scent, but there's another thing is too much that it just overwhelms them, that it's system overload, and they're like, we got to go one way, we're just gonna freaking go this way. Sometimes those bears that cross the road that you see, those are the hardest ones to catch.
Yeah. And if we had the self-control, we would just sit there for 10 minutes and then put them on it, and then they'd run it back. But we ain't got that.
What's self-control?
Yeah, I heard of it one time.
Especially bear hunting.
Yeah.
You just hope the dog sees the bear. You don't care if they smell it. You want them to see the bear.
See it.
And then
Chase
go
it.
after them.
But they're just like us. They see something and they go stupid. They forget their nose and they use their eyes, and that's when they struggle with it at the start. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Them dogs get more excited than we do.
Oh, yeah.
Something fresh like that, especially when they're hot and ready to go, and you're screaming, hollering, yelling. They see a bear, you're going nuts.
Trying to open the tailgate.
It's overload and chaos as can be.
Trying to
it's like
rig. Holy moly!
it's like a teenager walking into the strip club for the first time in his life. It is system overload.
Yeah. I think we all have our different thoughts, and sometimes it comes out.
Well, that's what's hard is because we all have had different thoughts, different educations on it, and we're all passionate. I'm passionate. Derek's passionate. Jared's passionate. Benny is Benny. Benny is just even kill, but we're all passionate about our dogs and how we hunt and what works for us. And that's the hard part is when someone challenges it, emotions come on the rise. Takes us a minute, we calm down, we're good to go, and we come back and talk it out.
And it's all the same result, honestly. It's about drive, reading your dogs. Some dogs are better than others. Like Benny said, not all dogs are created equal. Nothing.
And not all houndsmen are created equal. Some guys can read a dog and bring the
over there. Don't go that direction for crying out loud.
Well, just saying, some guys can read a dog a lot better than others and bring out the ability of a dog that some just can't. It just is. And I am probably on the latter end of that people are a lot better at reading and bringing out the ability of a dog than I am.
Yep.
I think, and then there's guys who need to buy dogs, right? Because they want to hunt. It's all they want to do is hunt. They don't want to train a dog. They don't want to raise a litter. They just want to put their dogs down and go. So those are just people that like to hunt. They like the chase.
Well, there's two.
Henry McIntyre
never
never trained a dog. Yeah, Henry McIntyre in Texas. Yeah, never trained one. Never.
Is
the bottom
one
right?
Well, there's two reasons you buy a dog. One, like you just said, you buy a dog, you want to catch game right off the bat. Second reason is none of us can speak dog. It is a lot easier to have a dog that knows what it's doing and doing the young dog justice behind it, because that old dog will teach that young dog 10 times faster than we ever will. And it's just like, you guys remember the book The Brave?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They had this young dog. This is why I bought dogs. I ain't afraid to say it. I bought 2 in the last 2 years. And it's because in the movie The Brave, the reason for the dog stuff is they had this young dog and it was running deer, squirrel, everything off their sheep kill in California back in the 60s. And they couldn't find this young dog for like 2 hours. And these dogs are trailing this lion and it's not going out like how they wanted it to. The good dogs are pecking. You got this young dog that's boomeranging back and forth. And then one time it didn't come back. And then an hour or 2 later, it came back quiet, no barking, came back, went up to the old dog, the guy's best dog, Steve Mathis's best dog. And they, how dogs meet and they sniff each other's faces and the sides of their cheeks? They did that, and his old dog dropped his head and wasn't barking, but trailed that young dog back to where he came from. And that young dog found the lion where the lion bedded, and they took off and caught it. The young dog didn't really know what to do yet, so he went to the old dog and was just like, hey, I found this. I think this is what we're looking for. I don't know what to do with it. So he went to the guy that knew what to do with it, and they went off and caught it together.
And that's your pack mentality, right? You like your dogs that work good together.
Well, I mean, you had a puppy that didn't know its head from its ass, and then you had a dog that was a great, phenomenal dog. I think it was his red dog or whatever he called it. That's why you buy an older, experienced dog. Is they will train and communicate to the puppy a lot faster than what we could. That puppy could have came up to Steve Mathis and looked at him, and Steve probably just would have petted him on the head and gone back to the truck. instead of having that older dog there. They talked through sniffs and that stuff and went and caught the lion that day.
That's
So
a
he's a
fact.
translator.
Yes. The old dog knows what you want. He can tell the young dog what to do.
That's a real thing. Like hell, if I had a finished dog, I'd get a lot more done. I'd struggle by some of these puppies for 2 years, and so that's a real thing. Especially and then like locating. I think that's tough for a pup to figure out if
It
they can't.
Oh, I
absolutely is.
know that's
Look
a
at-
fact.
And
Look
stay
at
in trees.
me and Dustin yesterday. My 10-month-old pup saw the lion in the tree twice. She didn't do anything with it till it hit the ground, running.
And stick in a tree, I think that's a tough when you just got pups because they don't because none of mine have had anything shot to them. They don't know there's anything more. They catch it and they're like, cool. And 15 minutes later, they're going back to the truck.
Yeah,
and that's
I had issues with that with my first hound. He would tree. I bought my first hound when I lived in Montana, and he treed a bobcat. And he was at the tree for 15, 20 minutes, and I'm hiking to it, and he's doing good, and he's blowing the top out of that tree. I get 200 yards from the tree. He comes back to me. I hike to the tree, and I pet him up, and he goes back to treeing and that stuff. It still didn't help him tree, so I called an older guy that knew dogs. It was he didn't go take me hunting, but he would answer my questions.
Yeah.
And he told me, he's like, go coon hunting with that dog. He's all, go coon hunting with that dog and shoot 3 out to him. He's like, but make sure he sits there at that tree and barks for a while before you shoot him out.
That's what I'm dealing with now is leaving in, half hour or less. And I can't hardly get there in that time, it's just the country's rough.
Yeah.
And
and it just comes down to hunt gray fox. They climb and they're abundant.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be the best to trash break off of, obviously, for you. Or raccoon in the river bottom. I mean,
I thought about doing that.
Keebler used to hunt raccoons out of Phoenix in the river bottom, didn't he, Benny?
Yeah, he still does. He hunts coons right now at Tonto Basin.
Yeah.
I thought about going somewhere, finding some, and getting them on them because, a coon ain't going any place. They're going to be right in there. You can get there quick.
But back in the old days, there was no science. It was a lot of time. These guys, it wasn't on the weekends. It wasn't 2 or 3 days a week. These guys were out every day. So if you go run with a Mexican guy that don't speak English and you don't speak Spanish and you run with him for 2-3 years, you're going to learn some Spanish. He's going to learn some English. But you run in with these dogs, the more you run with them, obviously, I've hunted dirty for 11 years. I know as soon as he rigs, I'm like, no, I won't let him down. And then he gets a kind of a harder rig. I'm like, well, I'll let him see. I know as soon as he comes off that tailgate and he goes, I know within 15, 20 yards, he's full of shit. He just wanted to go down and piss on everything. So, but that's 11 years of hunting. At all the coyotes he chases.
Well, not chases, but
you know what I mean.
Coyote marks a corner post. He's like, no, I'm going to mark that corner post. Let me down out of here.
That's exactly right. And that's a male dog. That's a male dog. But I know that dog. I know the dogs that I can't. I knew with Andy, he was older than Dirty. It was his brother. But I knew if he rigged, I had to watch Dirty. I had to watch how Dirty rigged because when Andy rigged, I didn't trust him because he had a phenomenal nose just for everything. I caught a porcupine in a tree 100 yards out that he rigged. And that's the only time I said, okay, I'm going to let you go. And he can treat a porcupine, and I knew it was wrong because Dirty didn't rig how he should have. But it's one of them times you kind of give them an inch and them sons of bitches took that mile and you're like, gosh, dang it. But I think in the old days, it's just time. How much time does Johnny Clump spend with his dogs, Benny? Richard Dickerson, Hendricks, Smith, Casey Fair. You know what I mean? Like all these people, they spend way more time. And I would trust somebody like those guys if they're telling me do this or that, then maybe somebody's saying, well, scientifically, I'm not picking on you, but scientifically, this is how it should be. I would trust somebody, an old timer, more than somebody that's that knows the scientific fact, because even science can be debunked by observation.
Well, it's the same with go to construction site.
Challenging whether or not the dog was better than the other dog. I was theorizing as to why. Like I would never tell a guy that no, you shouldn't check. I don't know. You shouldn't go up that river bottom because science says lions will be over here. That's stupid. This guy knows. Like I'm never going to tell Casey where to look for a lion track. He's caught more than I'll ever see, kind of deal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
For example, or like any of you guys been running these things longer than I've been in this country for sure. And hell, Benny caught his first one before my dad was born, probably. You know, and I don't mean that in any kind of bad way. You just been doing this for longer than I've been doing.
I'm the old guy here.
And so I would never look at Benny and be like, there's no way that's what the lion would do. Hell, I don't know. But I say it all the time.
You always have to take science with a grain of salt to a certain extent.
But
we've all done jobs. We've all done jobs where someone with a clipboard shows up and tells me something I've been doing for 7-10 years. I'm doing it wrong.
Let's take, you know what's a good example? An engineer. How many times you got a set of plans that a guy sat there and drew them and said, this is going to work. It works right here. And you get out on the job, you're like, it's absolutely not going to work.
But I didn't bring up anything like that. Like the amount of parts per million of scent that a dog can smell, that's vested science. That's tested, proven, and reviewed. And I was just theorizing. But I think that we have to take our explanations of why things happen with a grain of salt too. Because whether or not it did happen is no question. Like sometimes lions are the track halfway goes away. We can't hardly find it. You know, the dogs can't. But the lion didn't stick his finger up his ass and switch a flip that makes his skin cells stop falling off.
No, that's a lion. Lions do that. Bears don't do that. Lions turn their sin off. Everybody knows the lion turns their sin off.
Don't pick on Brett. He's not here.
Yeah, that's proven. Brett has proven that.
Well, but I have
witnessed it. I mean, I haven't witnessed the actual probe taking place, but I've witnessed what Brett has been saying.
That's what I mean, though. Like, we know the conditions. Like, just like Dustin was saying, there's so many variables. Don't know what screwed us. We just know we got screwed. But we know you can't turn your smell off. We know that dogs' noses don't not work past 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Like that, you know what I mean? Because that is an old wives' tale from the before
But there's
days.
always an explanation, right?
There's always a reason.
So take what Chris said. This is, I think, a year or so ago. Chris brought this up to me when lions shut their scent off. Is lions are 10 times more effective than hunting than a pack of wolves, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why wolves still kills from lions, and lions can go kill another deer without a problem. Just like, so when they get a heighted elevation, whether their heart rate, adrenaline kicks, something happens there, the same as a chameleon changing its color. If that makes sense.
If a chameleon can change his color, why can't a lion change his scent? Maybe.
Oh no, I don't doubt that. Scent change. We know scent
pheromone that disguises it.
We know scent changes. That's a fact. That is, again, that's vested science. Scent changes depending on how you're feeling, what you're doing, all that stuff. But the idea, like the old guys always said, that they'll turn it off, and you can't do that. You know what I mean? Just like they used to say.
I think that's just a kind of a phrase. You know what I mean?
But that's what I mean. It's just like a dog's too hot nose. Like the dog's nose isn't actually that much different than the other dog.
He
It
just
just
gets so
like
excited.
he just
on
don't
that
care
track.
about that old track, near as much
Mm.
or what have you. That's what I theorized. Like I
And
would
that
never.
could be genetics in the brain.
Yeah.
That
It could be something in here that he just not wired to give a hoot about that.
Well, some people can do math, and some people can use big words.
Yep.
Jared is not the big word guy.
No, I was a
And you
grade
don't-
setter though in construction, so I can add and subtract.
And a dog can put his nose down, and if we could smell what they smell, then we could absolutely quantify anything we said. Could be like, oh man, I don't. Here, I took a disabled veteran hunting this week, and I'm walking through, and he's not a his only disability is he hasn't hunted a lot, honestly. And I'm walking through, I'm like, oh, you smell that? Oh, you smell that? And he's like, what? I'm like, that's elk. We're close, And he couldn't smell it because he didn't know what to smell. And I literally would have to be like, wait, you smell it? And I would tell him it's kind of a sour, pungent smell. And then finally, because I already installed it in his brain, right? So now he's really trying to use his nose. He says, oh, I said, you smell that? And he goes, I do smell. I get it now. And that's no different than petting a dog on the head when he opens on a track, right? So now he's like, oh, shoot.
Or like the first time you drank bourbon, it just tasted like whiskey. But then the 100th time you drink bourbon, you can dissect the flavor palette, and this one's smokier than this one, But the 17-year-old boy with the bottle of wild turkey, it tastes the same as the Robitussin, it tastes the same as the Jack Daniels. You know what I mean? They can't tell the difference because you've not learned to recognize that.
Robert, we can't prove if they do, and we can't prove that they don't.
We can prove that you can't turn scent off. Your body is going to shed scent cells all the time.
Oh, I was with the search and rescue, and they used. There was a guy who used the hound. There was a guy that used Labrador. There's a guy who used a German Shepherd. They used all. You're right. They used all different kind of dogs, and it's really honestly on a man tracker. It was a preference of what they wanted to use.
Mm-hmm.
German Shepherds back in the 90s were kind of the dog to use for man tracking, but we had a few people with labs, and we had a couple people with dogs. And there was a guy I just talked to him. Well, everybody knows him. Ogle, Brian Ogle. I think he did the prison hounds, the bloodhounds.
Okay.
So everybody has their preference. I think that's more anything, just like a red dog, just like people who are desperate and use black and tans, and then there's blue dogs and stuff. But you know what I mean? I think
crazy guys.
I think 90% of what we think is right is our preference.
Yeah.
I love blue ticks. I love blue ticks. I got some red ticks. I hate red dogs. Damn, that dog I got from Jared, he's gonna be a good little dog. The dog I got from Casey Fair, he's doing better than the Terrell Shelley dog. That dog's lazy. I'll tell you right now, it's lazy. I throw shit out there, the little red dog finds it, and that damn red tick follows him around trying to find it. So I really try to separate him now, and if he's by himself, he'll go find it. That's a lazy dog to me. It doesn't mean he ain't gonna work by himself, but he might be a better dog where I let him down and he takes off and goes. And he's gonna be slow, probably and then I'll have my fast ones. I'll be honest, I don't like red dogs only because they're red. I've had a couple problems with them, just like I drive Dodges and I drive my Tundra, but I'm a Dodge guy, right? Why? Because I was raised with Dodges. If your daddy has blue ticks, more than likely you're probably gonna be hardcore blue tick guy.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Just like I got them blue females. I went through a lot of trouble to essentially make a blue running walker. Like that was a lot of trouble. I could have just got a regular one, but I rationalized it in my head that I was going to get a better nose out of blah blah if I cross this and this and get those pups, and I just ended up with a blue running dog. Essentially, she might be a little little more track minded than some of the ones I had before. But it's, you know,
Derek has influenced me. I got rid of all my dogs the other day, and I got these. These are my new pack now. That's what I'm gonna run.
you're gonna have a bad time with them Siberians, but
Oh, I can't tell it. I thought they looked like your dog. I was just gonna go run like hell, and I was gonna prove you right, Derek. I'm gonna prove you right with those.
hey, I mine do good enough for where I feed them. That's all that matters.
No, it is, and it's the way you want to hunt. And I know a couple of these people kind of got mad on here, and I think the great thing about this podcast, this live, is even though we can kind of get riled up, I think tomorrow if I say, Derek, we're going hunting, Jared, Benny, even Dustin, that even though he's redheaded and stuff, but
he's not allowed south of Tucson anymore. Did you see that?
Who?
Dustin.
Oh, is he banned?
They're trying to kick all the redhead
kick
down.
all the gingers out. I heard about that.
Yeah, this guy went to the city council and said we got to kick all the redheads out of town.
I'm available Friday and Sunday and Monday. Other than that, I'm busy, but I will be there with spears on.
With spears on.
Casey Fair is 100% right, and I think it's respect. I mean, even Scott Thomas, he thinks he's full of shit. I don't remember him saying that, but
he didn't say it.
I don't remember him saying it, but either way, like, they hunt a little bit different back there. I think he's Alabama. Casey Fair said it, I think, right. No need to nerd out about scent. You can either trail or you can't. If the old timers want to call it turning off scent, then they have earned the right to call it whatever they want. That's true, because I'll never catch as many lions as Warner Glenn or Steve Smith or Rich Dickerson, because it wasn't my job. It's not my job. My job is to support my family. And these days, you can't make a big living off of staying behind hounds. I mean, some people might, but what's the percentage? It's like a bull rider. There's thousands of bull riders, but how many actually make it to the PBR or the finals? It's just like a houndsman. Yeah. There's a lot of houndsmen, but how many actually have the time to make their dogs? I'm down in the valley. I'm actually got a job now. I have to work. So that takes away 2-3 days out of the week that I can't hunt. So I'm going to be one of them until it cools off down here south in the south, Arizona. I'm not bringing my dogs down for another month probably. And then I can go back and then I'm pulling off a bear and I'm going in the woods 5 to 6 days a week. Chris, with the job you have. No, I'm doing I subcontracted with a company and it's going to be a little bit before I get it straightened out.
He has to clock in, Tim.
No, I don't have to clock in. I got to fix stuff and make my pay worth it before I start disappearing in the middle of the day when I'm doing a job down on the reservation. I accidentally put my dogs in. But I enjoy, I guess, the drama and the argument, because in the end, you get a little bit out of something. If not finding a character of somebody that gets mad about it, or finding who can sit back and say, hey, you're right. I get it. But sometimes I think a word will come out and then Derek won't understand it, or Dustin, and they get mad because you call them a quantifying, belligerent, escapulating. But I think there needs to be more arguments like this. But in the end, what does it really end up? We're going to be we want to be under a tree, no matter who turns off their scent, no matter what the science says, no matter what dog you're using, right? You like your dogs, you have an accent. We'll try our best not to hold that against you. I don't think we think you're dumb because you have an accent or you use those dogs. It's just, I think it's kind of a Dodge, Chevy, Ford thing. Your Ford's a piece of crap. And then that starts a fight, right? Like, oh, I've been driving. I got 400,000 miles in my Ford. But in the end, it's getting it from point A to point B, and it's no different than a dog. Whether you're free casting, you're rigging, you're on a mule, you want to get from point A to point B, and you want point B to be under a tree. Period.
Yeah.
No matter what you're using, how you're using it, how long you trailed it, what the weather conditions are. There's people that I'm one of those. I've went out when it's 90 degrees in the afternoon just to get my dogs out. And I went out in the morning kind of late, and I ended up catching a lion that came out of the houses. My mom literally called me and said, there's a lion over here on Facebook. And my dog started that lion 10 minutes before she called me. And I said, that was like confirmation. That quantified what I was doing in a sense, where I was like, shit, I might be chasing that lion. And sure as hell. And it was by the time I got to the tree, I was dehydrated. My dog, it was 90 degrees. Why I didn't die myself? I left my mule tied to a trailer 4 miles away so I could get to these dogs. I mean, but in the end, it was stupid conditions. It was stupid choice to take the mule I took because it was too slow. And I just wanted to go out in the morning before I headed home and run some dogs. You know, I jumped one out of the houses. And that goes back to, I think, who said number 6 was Tim? He said number 6 is luck. You're lucky. All hunting, I think, is luck. Lucky to find the track, right? You're lucky to get the trail and make sure that whatever you're chasing don't get rid of you. And you're lucky to tree it, that you made it that far. I think does it have to do with skill? Oh, yeah. You can't just go buy even made dogs and not know how to hunt dogs and turn them loose and just go. You're not just going to go catch, and that was kind of my argument last week. Was these videos sometimes have a false perception to even people who want to hunt elk hunting, coyote videos. You go out there, call for 3 minutes, and it comes in. You go out and bugle, elk runs in. You go out, drop the tailgate, you're going to catch a lion. It's not how it is. That's not how it is at all. I think there needs to be more videos. You could put something in a tree, but let's show like Brett does, right? Let's show all the video or all the time it took to catch that one tree, Yeah.
I ought to just video everything I do because I do a whole lot of walking for nothing.
Yeah. Jared went through a dry spell there too, where he was just like,
I've been so far. This year's been good. I just got to get it to stay hooked. I do want to run this by you.
December, I wanted to pull my hair out. The whole month of December, I was calling Chris and a couple other guys just getting mad.
That's the only time I get to talk to all of y'all. I want to run that by you. So, my shit's not staying treed for very long. 15 to 25 minutes, then they just quit. And I'm telling you, last weekend, I was walking in and I saw the bear bail out, and my dogs are on their way back to the pickup over here, 70 yards from the tree or something. And I'm like sick about it. You know what I mean? Do you reckon if I go in there with a dog that won't leave, that will help them stay, or do I just need to forget about that and just go shoot some stuff to them that I can get to faster?
They need to chew on it. They need to chew on something.
Oh, yeah. I just mean, like, I can take my buddy's dog that will stay there until the sun, goes down or whatever. Then do you reckon that'll be? In my head, they'll be more excited and stay there, getting wild. Maybe give me a little bit more time to get there, or should I just go shoot some coons to them in the river bottom?
I have dogs that tree, and I have dogs that trail. I have dogs that will go tree for a little bit, and then they'll run around with their nose down, maybe trying to find something else to trail because maybe they enjoy trailing, right? They're different kind of, just like people. Some people run marathons. They're stupid. I've fall down dead after 1K, but they love to run marathons because their body's built for it. And maybe some dogs, I got dogs that will tree. They'll tree. So I think getting a dog that trees and you can stay there and call your dogs back and maybe see if they're
this. But look at what Dustin just wrote. What's his question? Which dog is leaving first? That may be the problem.
Dragging other dogs off?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm leaving the dog that's leaving first at the house this weekend.
Or maybe
And
put him on
then
a leash. Put him on a leash and walk him in.
He's not adding anything to it. I don't have enough collars for everybody, so he's gonna stay home. He's like with that, like nothing would change with him not there. He's just it's that big male hound pup I got. He's last to the game, and he just kind of me too's his way in there. I don't know whether he trails his way in or not. I don't know, but he's last to get there. He gets hung up all the time, and he leaves pretty quick.
well, and so you got to go back to the pack mentality.
Yeah.
And how much of that pack mind is in that dog, and how much are the other dogs gonna acknowledge him too?
Yeah.
Because
Well,
there might be some reprogramming needs to take place with the rest of the dogs. Even if you leave him home, they may think, hey, this is a lot of fun. We'll go off and run around and do something else now.
Yeah.
Here's a question too, because I run labs for my birds, and I have 2 labs out there, and they both they're not pack mentality. Are the Lycas a pack mentality? Like the hounds, to me, I feel they have that pack mentality, but I still get a couple dogs that decide everybody's treeing. I feel like they're like, well, shit, everybody's treeing. Why do I have to? And it's like they want to go out and find something else.
Yeah, they want
You know,
to.
it's just
This one
it's
here, I don't know yet, but my 2 other males, they're real good about we want to work together. My hounds, on the other hand, have a little too much independence. They maybe want to do their own thing quite a bit. So that's kind of, and maybe I fostered that by singling them out the way I did to give them confidence when they were yearlings. I may have caused that, and that's my lack of running stuff with big packs,
and it,
So are yours packy? Do they stick together, or do you feel like they just kind of go out and hunt on their own? Because I got dogs that go big circles by themselves, which
that's
I
what
love.
my females, they start throwing loops or back and forth across the bottom, whatever. They go on their own thing. Now my 2 Leica males they work like together a lot of times. The one is a lot less experienced than the other. So he kindly just backs boss man. But he will take a split or figure out, a little bit of a hole. He's shown. I'm really happy with that pup. He's showing a ton, and he only started on the opener. First time I ever took him. He's doing really well. But they'll go to each other. But I think the hounds have lied to my main male at some point because he quit going to him. He'll trail all the way to him unless he hears fight or something, seems like. But when they're going there blowing the world down, he won't run to them. It's like he don't believe them or something. I don't know.
they could just not like him.
He might not,
You know, you go. It's like just like any of us. You put us in a room with a bunch of, hippie guys drinking IPAs. I'm not gonna hang out there very long.
Yeah.
You put me in a dive bar, I might burn that sunbuck down till 2 a.m.
Not
Yeah.
like a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get around a campfire and you'll sit there all night talking crap.
Talking, yeah, just like we've been on this thing for a little over an hour and a half now, talking dogs. Now, you go and try to put me on someone talking to me about a glassing for mule deer or whatever. I'm going to be interested for about 15, 20 minutes. And I'm going to be like, all right, dude, I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
Thanks for some of the tips you gave me, but I'm not sticking around.
You know what? That's a good segue for this next question where he says, how about the ones that tree? You get there and they leave. So does that dog feel satisfied? Like, oh, I satisfied him? Or did he just, okay, I did my job. Like you listened to the guy respectfully 15 minutes and said, all right, I got to go. Is that just your preference? The dog lets it go. He gets to the trees. You get there and all of a sudden the dog's like, okay. And he follows you around.
I've seen that leaving the tree as soon as you get there. I've seen that a lot with like coonhound pups, and with those, we always just try to get there and tie them up real quick, and then knock them out. Just knock them out to them. I don't know.
Well, do you think releasing those bears, letting them go and letting them chase them again, does that hurt them? Or does that give them more drive? A puppy, I feel
Well,
a
some
puppy
dogs.
gives them drive.
I think that I made a mistake not shooting anything to them as long as I haven't. I think that I've messed up doing that. I think they need the hair in their mouth. In the beginning, for sure. After they know that that's the thing, I think it's good for them to have as many chases as they can get, I would think. I mean, again, it's like one of those things I can't quantify, but it makes sense to me that more chasing is better.
Casey, and I've been a victim of this, and I'll be honest, I didn't have shot collars it was 2005. I didn't get GPS till 2008.
See,
and I had
I
shot
can't do
collars.
I can't keep up. There ain't no way. If I didn't have GPS on them, I'd never get there.
Well, that's kind of the kickback of having dogs that go fast.
Mm-hmm. That's a real thing.
So now you know why we have slower dogs that trail, so we can keep up with them.
They search faster than I can go, pretty much. I can almost keep up with them when they're looking for scent, but when they strike something, I can't keep up with them. It's quite rare. One time we trailed that female, and I could keep to where I could kind of see them when they went, in the distance as they went over a rise or something. I was in a couple 100, 200 yards of them most of that day, but like usually they get out of the country right in a hurry.
Yeah, I hunt different because I like my dogs when I'm on a mule, I like my dogs to stay by me. When I'm free casting, even, I don't mind them getting out a couple 100 yards, and I keep them by me. But technology is phenomenal. I've learned more watching my Garmin and how those dogs work.
Yeah.
And you got the dog that goes all the way back to the truck for some reason, and then I don't even shock them or nothing, because 90% of the time that's just like a pup. They'll come find you. And I love the dogs that will go out and come back, because to me, that's just more opportunity. And now when I'm hunting down here in South Arizona, I like to kind of keep them within 100, 200 yards. And they get 200 yards, I kind of get them back in, and then they'll come back, and then they'll start working out again, just so I can. Because if they start a track 400 yards out, and I have to ride out a quarter mile or half a mile and look for a track, they're already 2 miles away or a mile away. Mm-hmm. So that's just like how I hunt. I'm lazy, though. I don't want to lose my dogs. I don't want to, and maybe that ruins. I don't know if it ruins them. That's just how I like to hunt, and I like to just kind of stay close. I'm sure even in Vietnam, when you had a platoon, you didn't want them out too far. You wanted everybody to regroup when you had to.
Yeah, it's like there's a saying in the coon hunting world that when Garmin came out, all the liars got exposed. Because you can't lie to yourself anymore. All the lies got exposed. Because we lie to ourselves, about our dogs until we just see what they're doing, and then we know, okay, maybe she just laid down for 30 minutes, or whatever. Went back, like you say, went back to the damn truck for some reason, whatever it is,
Yeah.
But no, mine don't work too big. And if we're walking into a place, and I've been pretty lucky this year. Just I'll go where I reckon there's going to be something, and there's been stuff in there, without too bad for.
So, I don't think he's saying he gets out and they chase. I think your dogs like to get out and take off and run and look, right? That's what you're saying.
Yes, I hunt them like it. It is not call BS if you want to. We're not hunting the same kind of dogs in the same way. I cast I go walking up a big draw, and I cast my dogs, and they're going big loops. They go hunt. They don't need me to go. I don't go out and put my finger in tracks and they smell tracks. They go find game. It's a different kind of dog, and you can call BS, but if you call BS, you can go see them every weekend. Dogs, that's what they do. They'll be in there deep and getting after it. And that's just the way that I hunt. It's a different way than has ever been done out here, pretty much. Well, not entirely, but for the most part, it's just a different thing. Like, just because I never saw a guy cold trail 2-day-old lion and catch one, but I'm not going to say it never happened. I just never seen it. I've only ever hunted
what I
with.
would do, Derek,
What's that?
is I would drive roads and find tracks to turn your
Make
dogs
sure you
loose
find
on
the
first.
track first, right?
Yeah, make sure you find the track first and then let your dogs out and let them, and then you have a direction of what the game's traveling, and you can take your dogs off that way, and you at least know you're going the right direction.
If I would do that and I did that a lot last year. And like after we hunted together, I did that a ton. And this year I just been walking into places because, a bear in this country's, especially like where I've been hunting now, like they're going to cross the road and then I can see a track or not.
That's the easiest way to start when you're having troubles.
Yeah, like I'm just having trouble with them sticking, and I can't keep up with them. It's just they hunt hard and big, and I don't know. There ain't no keeping up with them. You ain't gonna keep next to these deals when they just don't work close like what Chris is saying. How he calls them back because they get too far, or like guys like the Dub Evans book where these dogs stay right with these horses until they strike something. Mine don't do that. Mine get gone. They leave me like they're late for work, and that's what I wanted. That's what that's what hounds are bred from.
And it's up to you to find them.
Yeah, they go do their bit, and it's up to me to get there. I don't drive around. I really can't afford to drive around like that. I got fuel to get there, maybe a little bit to burn, but pretty much I'm walking. Like that's just what I got to do. I don't make very much money. You guys all know I'm broke all the time. I can barely afford to.
The most important thing about that is, though, you're out, period. Whether you have to chase dogs on foot 40 miles or not, you're out. And I think the more you can get out, the better you are. We can all agree on that. None of us get out.
I'm out.
Enough.
I'm out. It's past my bedtime. Have a good evening.
It's 2 hours. We only argued for 45 minutes, and then we talked casually after. So if we pissed anybody off, we're probably doing right. We're probably bringing up subjects that should be brought up. We have somebody who hunts funny-looking, pointy-ear dogs. We got someone that runs black and tan, but maybe it's probably worse than the pointy-ear dog sometimes. But in the end, right, we're out, we're hunting. If we all won the Powerball, or even one of us won the Powerball, we'd probably all be out hunting. So, I think the conclusion to this is that we could quantify that we should be out more than what we are.
Can we quit using quantify through this whole thing?
You know what it means? Okay, we can measure. We can assume. So, Benny's gone. He go night-night.
Yep.
But in the end, we can agree that it don't matter how you hunt. It's if you're out hunting, and it don't matter what the conclusion is. Besides the fact that we need our dogs looking up. Period.
Yep.
We can end it on that, right?
Yes, sir.
There we go.
So
there we go. All right, I'm out of here.
All right. See
if I can find
all right, guys.
tomorrow.
Sounds good to me. Time to go night-night.
See ya.
All right. All right, guys. There you have it. A little bit of argument and a little bit of agreement. Remember, keep your powder dry and stay safe out there and get them dogs looking up.
Well,